And we'll start with quarterbacks or quarterback.
Yeah.
One quarterback candidate here, Matthew, and that's Caleb Williams, who the Bears hope after the hiring of Ben Johnson does take a massive second-year lead.
Yeah, look, the argument here is this is somebody that's more or less being drafted outside the top 10 at the position. And no team, I think, improved their offensive line this offseason more than the Chicago Bears. Ben Johnson was brought in specifically, make Caleb Williams work, right? And so not only they improve the offensive line, not only they have year 2 of Rome Odunze, they draft Colston Loveland. He's still got DJ Moore. They've got Cole Kmet. They've got a lot of weapons around him. And honestly, I'm not that impressed with their run game. So you feel like this is probably going to be a pass-first offense, and you think about his rushing ability. 9 different games last year with 30 or more rushing yards. Only 3 quarterbacks had more. I don't think you think of Caleb Williams in the same, and not saying that he's Lamar Jackson or Josh Allen, but he gets you more points with his legs than I think people realize. And so, especially given the threat of his legs and the fact that he's going to have more time behind that offensive line, I think Caleb Williams is somebody that easily could take a big jump this year.
Yeah, I think he's a great candidate. Look, and we saw the flashes last year. It just wasn't a great team around him. While he did finish ranked outside the top 15 quarterbacks, you saw in Week 6 against the Jaguars where he was QB1. 4 total touchdowns, over 50 yards on the ground. Then you say, oh, that's the Jags. He had back-to-back weeks against the Lions and the Vikings, where he also was a top 5 quarterback. Then he had a 5-game stretch late in the season where he threw 10 touchdowns and 0 interceptions. So the talent is still there. I think a lot of people kind of hit the panic meter on him so quickly because we thought so greatly of him coming out of draft, but he was still a rookie who played 3 years in college. So now that he has that offensive line, now that he's got these weapons at receiver, I think this is a great candidate for ride or die.
How much of a pass do you give Caleb for last season?
I mean, he made his own mistakes, but a huge pass because keeping that staff was an absurd move. It did not set him up for any kind of success at all. Then they go out and improve the interior of their offensive line, which is massive because he's a guy that holds the ball a little longer. And you just look at the offensive upgrade from a scheme standpoint with Ben Johnson. That's a massive difference. So while he made his own rookie mistakes, he wasn't set up to succeed at all. And the success of Jaden Daniels, I think, is actually suppressing the value of the number 1 pick. And it wasn't even – think about how highly regarded he was for 2 years in college football as an NFL prospect, not being taken inside the top 10 quarterbacks. This one's exciting.
Yeah, it is. So I think Caleb is very interesting. And, I also think – you guys will think I'm going crazy, but I felt like, the Bears were actually rolling, and then the Hail Mary game that they lost to Washington, all of a sudden it felt like the wheels of that team came off. That it was just sort of like this huge defeat, after a game that they should have won, honestly, and they didn't. Thanks to the magic of Jaden Daniels, faith in 5, hail Commanders, hail victory. But honestly, that they weren't a terrible team at that point. I think they were I want to say they were 4-2 or
they're 5-3, that type of range. Yeah. But I think the thing with Caleb, outside of how good is he going to be, the 2 minor pushbacks I would give is, 1, plays in a brutal division with some really good defenses. Sure. Plays outdoors in the weather as well, which can suppress fantasy production. And then I think the lower key one, I don't think it's going to matter long term, but it's year 1 in a new system where everything has changed. I just think that just getting that continuity, familiarity with the system, talk about these quarterbacks, these epic quarterbacks who exploded in year 2, like Mahomes, he at least had sat with the Andy Reid playbook, and he was going into year 2 when he had his MVP season. Lamar Jackson had some familiarity with the season going into the system going into his second year too. So that would be another pushback with Caleb, but certainly he's got immense upside.
Well, and by the way, I'll just say this. So on fantasylife.com, we have an ADP tool. It's free, and it just shows you on every site, whether you play on Yahoo or you play on other sites as well. Every single site in the industry sort of where all these players. And the consensus ADP on Caleb Williams is QB 13. And so I certainly think I'd be surprised if at the end of the year he's not better than QB 13.
Right. I think he will be. And look at Ben Johnson, right? That's who he's got now as his play caller. 3 years with Jared Goff when he was kind of written off after he got to the Lions.
Kind of.
Yeah.
The Rams gave a first-round pick to get rid of him.
Right. So, look, in 3 years of Ben Johnson, he's thrown for at least 4,400 yards in each season with Ben Johnson. Bears hasn't had a 4,000-yard passer in their history. I think we get it this year.
Hey, it's Matthew Berry from NBCSports.com and RotoWorld.com, and I want to thank you so much for watching whatever it is you just watched, or if nothing else, being too lazy to click out of the autoplay after this video started, after whatever it is you actually wanted to watch finished. But now that you're here, I'd like to take a moment here to ask you respectfully now, okay? I'm asking you respectfully to subscribe to the NFL on NBC YouTube channel. You'll get the latest Roto-World fantasy news headlines, all sorts of great shows, including my own Fantasy Football Happy Hour. So go subscribe now. Again, I'm asking respectfully.